This is Fox 28 Breaking News.
Good afternoon and welcome to our coverage of President Obama's visit to Elkhart.
Now you are going to be getting a live look of the presidential plane, Air Force One, to touch down at South Bend International Airport. Now the president will be speaking to a crowd of students and teachers, and as the members at Concord High School, that's where he will be speaking at. Now you can see up here we have. It looks like the plane just touched down.
That's right. There's Air Force One at the South Bend International Airport. After the president touches down there, he'll be heading straight to Concord High School, where he's expected to give a one-hour speech on the economy. When that's finished, he'll head to Elkhart's Lerner Theater, where he will participate in a town hall meeting. The town hall is being hosted by PBS and will be broadcast later.
So why is the president visiting Elkhart? Well, Elkhart County was reeling from the economic downturn back in 2009 when Obama made his first presidential stop. Then he is saying the key to an economic rebound was in the hands of communities like Elkhart, which is why he's visiting here today.
And of course, there's a lot of debate over who should take the credit for Elkhart's economic rebound. Of course, the president visiting back in 2009 when he was here then, we were in the grips of an economic recession. In fact, you'll remember that papers across the country were labeling us as the poster child for the recession. But the debate now is whether it was Obama's policies that were to take credit for the economic rebound or something else entirely. Today, Governor Pence, who will not be on hand for the presidential arrival, penned an op-ed in the Elkhart Truth, basically saying it was not the president's, it was in spite of the president that Elkhart rebounded.
And he actually says that it was the community that was very much involved with that. And you know, as a Republican, he said, you know, he was not going to be attending today. He said that he has another engagement to attend to today. But a lot of other notable people there today to see the president as he's coming into the South Bend International Airport.
And we'll have to wait to see who will be on hand to greet the president there at South Bend International Airport. From what we've been hearing, Elkhart Mayor Tim Neese will be on hand. He's a Republican. He's sort of stayed neutral in all of this once we found out that the president was coming, saying that, you know, it's an honor anytime that the president comes to your town. But the president is selling this as a mark of his economic successes. And you mentioned that the governor saying it's the people of Elkhart who should get all the credit. And the president was careful to say that. You remember we talked to Josh Earnest, his press secretary, saying that it was the tenacity of the people of Elkhart who were responsible for the rebound. But then he also goes on to say that it was the policies and procedures in place from the Obama administration that were responsible. Is that the case? Some people saying there isn't a direct line between the president's policies and the RV industry rebounding, but the president is going to make his case today at Concord High School.
And last week, Fox 28's Veronica Jean Seltzer covered a lot of the downtown shops and what they were going through during 2009 in that recession period. And she actually talked to a hairstylist who at one point were worried about having to only keep 2 hairstylists, and now they have to keep hiring them because they say that there's so many more customers coming in, and they have really seen it firsthand themselves. And they think that, you know, seeing this now and with the president coming back and coming a little bit full circle here, it's a great visit to.
And you mentioned that again, though, for her, she was hesitant to give President Obama credit, and she does remember back then the hairstylist who opened up her own salon, saying that it was close to where she was going to have to close. It was a hard time. It was a hard time for a lot of people. The unemployment rate was sky high here. It was in the toilet. The foreclosure rate was very high. And that's something that the president's administration has mentioned, saying that it's rebounded now. And Josh Earnest, when we talked to him, the president's spokesperson, saying that he would think that if the economy didn't rebound and it was worse right now, Republicans would certainly blame the president, but they're hesitant to give him any credit.
Of course. But Pence, actually, you know, he's not going to be, as we mentioned, he will not be here today, but also his Democratic challenger, John Gregg. They say that the candidates do have prior commitments today, which is a little bit, you know, out of the norm. You'd think for a Democrat he'd want to be here, but a spokeswoman for Pence says that, again, he has a personal commitment, but the governor did pen an op-ed, as you said, today in the Elkhart Truth. And in it, he says there are many reasons for that remarkable economic recovery that has been created here in Indiana, but as you said, believes most of that credit belongs to the community, and he hopes the president will give the community that credit.
So let's, if I could, we're seeing Air Force One there now. Let me ask the folks in our control room, are we going to stay on this shot for a little bit longer? Okay. We're going to be staying with this shot from South Bend International Airport until President Obama deplanes their Air Force One. An exciting time anytime you see the President of the United States visiting your community. Mayor Tim Neese expressing that sentiment earlier in the week last week when we learned of the President's visit. Now, we talked about the politics of all of this, who should take credit, whether it should be President Obama, Governor Pence writing that op-ed saying that the credit should go to the policies in the state. But there are some technical things that you should know about, and among those is that you're going to expect some traffic delays, especially around Concord High School later today, and then the Lerner Theater.
Absolutely, and then it's been going on since Tuesday afternoon, but the question too is, when will the President talk, and what will he talk about today? Now, he plans to, again, this whole thing coming full circle, he plans to highlight the economic progress that Elkhart and America have made, not just Elkhart, but he's going to be talking about the nation too, the economic challenges that remain going forward, and the decisions that Americans will face in communities like Elkhart, especially coming up. And we're going to be voting in the presidential election come November, and it's going to be one of these topics of
the economy
which
is
candidate
huge,
to go
right?
for.
The economy is huge in the upcoming election, and the President, of course, will be making the case that the last 8 years and his policies were responsible for, in part, for Elkhart rebounding. Again, back then it wasn't a good time here. It was not a good time. The papers across the country criticizing Elkhart are basically saying it was the poster child for the economic downturn. And now the President is back and taking some credit, of course. Again, like I said, he is saying that it was because of the tenacity of the workers here in Elkhart, but also mentioning that it was the policies that he put in place.
Now, if you are just joining us, you are looking at Air Force One, where President Obama is on that plane. That is at the South Bend International Airport, landed just about 5-6 minutes ago. They're kind of rolling around the runway there. We're not really sure exactly when they're going to be stopping, but that's not a plane that you see every day coming into the South Bend International Airport next to a lot of those UPS planes that you normally see when you drive past it on the highway. But he will be set to talk at Concord High School today starting at 3:20. Now, those tickets, they're mainly going to high school graduates, the students there right now, and the faculty, but there were a ton of people yesterday in line waiting to get those tickets. Some as much not waking up at 4 a.m., getting in line at 4 a.m. to get those tickets for today.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting thing when the President of the United States visits your high school again. I can't imagine what it's like there at the South Bend International Airport right now as they're waiting for President Obama to deplane Air Force One.
Now, the Elkhart Police Department, they want you to know that they do have extra help today. And again, a lot of this is going to be happening near the downtown Elkhart area. They're going to have several outside agencies helping them to provide protection for the President while he is visiting. But they assure you that they are confident they will be able to provide security for the President and also still be able to provide the Elkhart residents with that same quality of service that they do every single day here.
It was interesting on my drive into work here today, just noticing on the US 20 bypass, the number of police officers, state police, and all sorts of vehicles going down the bypass. Of course, that we don't know the route, or we're not releasing the route that the President will take from the airport to Concord High School, but there was a strong police force on the bypass today, and then at some of the gas stations here. Lots of police cars in the parking lot, so we are definitely anticipating a big day in Elkhart, Indiana, as President Obama makes his return trip here after his visit in 2009, touting his economic policies. And again, we've been talking about the debate here, where the politicians stand on who should take credit. I'd be interested to know what you think, if the President should take credit for the economic rebound in Elkhart, Indiana. You could leave your comments right now on the Fox 28 Facebook page.
Now, the question also, we're going to be waiting here to see if the President is going to be stepping out of the plane any moment. But when will the President talk today? Well, Obama's speech will begin at Concord High School. That's going to start at 3:20 this afternoon. The President is then actually going to take part in a town hall meeting. He is going to drive on over to the Lerner Theater in downtown Elkhart. If you've ever been there, you know it's a beautiful theater, so that's going to be a great event. That town hall will be broadcast on PBS.
And that's going to be broadcast a little bit later. But today you'll be able to see the speech from Concord High School both on Fox 28 here on the air and on fox28.com. As we can see there live now at the airport, Secret Service, members of the Secret Service getting ready for the president to make his way off of the plane, off of Air Force One. It's hard for me to tell right now, without zooming in, exactly who will be greeting the president. I don't know if the folks in the control room have a better look at that, but we have been told that Elkhart Mayor Tim Neese, a Republican, will be on hand today to welcome Mr. Obama to South Bend, Indiana.
And if you are just joining us and you're wondering what this gigantic plane is on your screen, that is Air Force One at the South Bend International Airport. It looks like we do have a door opening here, and this is one of those famous images that you always see the president around the country, but this is happening right here in South Bend, where the president makes his way down those steps to greet everybody here at the South Bend International Airport. He will then head over to Concord High School at 3:20. Again, where we have been saying over and over, he is going to be touting his economic policies, really saying that, as you mentioned before, that back in 2009, Elkhart was that poster child, suffered much, or probably if not the most during that recession. And Obama was here back in 2009, looking at the community, talking with community leaders about what was going on, and now it's all coming full circle today.
Yeah, lots changed since then. As we mentioned before, the unemployment rate was in the teens. Now it's dropped significantly. People were losing their homes left and right, foreclosures all over the place in Elkhart, and again, that has settled down. But there are still people out there right now who are very unsettled in the economy, and we're seeing that issue play out in the presidential race right now for the general election. You know, that's going to be a huge issue, and you have to wonder, is the president in town trying to make the case for the Democratic policies that were in place for the last 8 years, and that Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are trying to continue in the White House, and of course Donald Trump saying that it's time for a change, that America should not have a repeat of an Obama presidency, arguing that things should change in the White House and that he would instill different economic policies.
And arguing that if Hillary Clinton were to win the Democratic nomination and go on to win the presidency, that she would bring in another 4 to a possible 8 years of Obama's economic policy. Now, again, here we're coming full circle back from 2009 now to 2016, where Obama is saying that he is the one that really helped bring this boom back to Elkhart when we were in a very, very bad place back in 2009. So a lot of voters this year are going to be having a lot of questions, and we have, there it looks like there is President Obama making his way down those steps at the South Bend International Airport.
Yeah, we'll pause and watch now. Looks like Senator Joe Donnelly greeting the president there. Again, we're told that Governor Pence will not be on hand. Now, it's important to point out that he was on hand for previous visits from President Obama, but he's not there today. Does that look like Mayor Buttigieg also there at the airport?
Mayor Buttigieg and Councilman, Common Council Andrew Castelny, I believe.
From the Democratic Party. Yep.
Very important to know that Senator Joe Donnelly, actually, when Hillary Clinton was in here, or was in town last May for the Democratic primary, or I'm sorry, for the Indiana primary, Senator Joe Donnelly gave her a big endorsement, and they say that Hillary Clinton looks to carry on the Obama economic policies in her run for the Democratic nomination as of right now.
Doesn't look like he's a hurry to get in the car, perhaps making his way to the crowd there at the airport. Our photojournalist, Rory, is there. The president taking time to sign some autographs. I was told about 60 or 70 people are out there at the airport right now to greet the president. Again, he's shaking hands with some kids there in the crowd. And he will head from here to Concord High School to deliver this speech on the economy. It'll be interesting to see if he does mention the presidential race right now. When he was just overseas, he did talk about Donald Trump, and he talked about how other world leaders are asking him about what's going on in the election in the United States, saying that they are kind of off kilter by what's happening here. So it'll be interesting to see if he takes any questions from reporters or about the election, or if he sticks to his speech on the economy. In all indications are right now that that's exactly what he wants to talk about. But you know, reporters, we like to
like
to ask questions about everything, right?
Exactly. But I mean, there is not a doubt in my mind, at least, that he will be really hitting home that presidential election that will be coming up, because you have the presumptive nominee Donald Trump, who many of the Democrats say they do not want in the White House, whereas Hillary Clinton looks to, again, carry on Obama's economic policies and bringing more economic success, as Obama has touted that he has done. And again, Hillary Clinton was just here in early May, I believe, for the Indiana primary, where she visited the local AM General plant and talking to union workers there, and getting that endorsement from Senator Joe Donnelly. And that will be it'll be interesting to see if he is going to mention her visit here back in May, and see if maybe there could be a possible endorsement. We may never know, but he's
well,
going
I think we'll know. I think it'll just be how much does the president get behind Hillary Clinton once that's all said and done. The president, again, at South Bend International Airport, taking some time to say hello to the folks. You can imagine that this is a memory that they'll have for a lifetime. The feeling, no matter your politics, when the president of the United States is visiting your hometown, is something very exciting. The president then getting into his car there, and we're assuming he is going to head straight for Concord High School. And
it's one of those things that you see the Air Force One, you see the presidential limo, and like you said, again, that is not something that you see every day, you know, at least here in the Midwest. But again, Elkhart being that, having the spotlight shine on it today from its economic comeback from back in 2009, where again, they were called the poster child of the recession, with the economic unemployment rate is one of the highest in the country.
You know, no matter who takes the credit for it, it's good that we're here today talking about an unemployment rate that is no longer in the teens, that the foreclosure rate is down. So the economy is better. The debate that will play out today, especially with President Obama visiting Elkhart again on the national media, in the local media, will be who takes credit for this rebound. So we'll watch that debate play out. We'll have continuing coverage for you of the president's visit to Elkhart. Again, he is headed to Concord High School. We'll carry that coverage for you live. That's scheduled at 3:20 this afternoon. We will also be carrying the president's departure of Air Force One. The event at the Lerner, though, I understand, is just for PBS, so we won't be able to bring that to you.
But you can watch our live coverage on fox28.com/live, and you can also watch right here on Fox 28 News at 10 tonight for more detailed coverage on the president's visit today.
And there goes the president's car. We appreciate you being here with us for this breaking news, the president's visit to Elkhart. We now return you to regular programming.